My younger brother fell in love with my girlfriend, and everyone told me to give her to him. Later, I died in a car accident in the operating room, and my cousin took my admission quota and married my girlfriend. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn to the period when my aunt had just passed away, and my cousin suffered from serious mental illness and came to my house to recuperate. Before I could react, my cousin grabbed my neck fiercely and said, "Damn you, are you going to kill me and steal my girlfriend? I will destroy you." He held a pair of scissors in his hand and was about to cut my face. I subconsciously resisted. Gu Yunhui was pushed out by me, and the scissors flew out of his hand. The whole person staggered back a few steps and fell on the stairs. His hand was scratched and blood dripped down. Gu Yunhui simply sat on the ground and blew the wound with his mouth. The classmates around him stopped and looked over here curiously. "Fang Yuan, what are you doing?" The person who came hurriedly was my girlfriend Bai Ningbing. He helped Gu Yunhui up from the ground. "Are you okay?" The one who came behind Bai Ningbing was my buddy Zhang Yunhe. When he saw Bai Ningbing like this, he was furious. "Bai Ningbing, do you have eyes?" It was Gu Yunhui who took the scissors to draw Fang Yuan's face first. "Whose girlfriend are you?" Gu Yunhui couldn't tell. "Can't you tell?" Maybe Zhang Yunhe's voice was too loud. Gu Yunhui was as if he was shocked. He pretended to be very scared and rubbed Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing frowned. "Zhang Yunhe, you are not unaware of Gu Yunhui's situation. After his mother died suddenly, he suffered from a serious mental illness. This time you actually provoked him. Do you have the most basic sympathy, as if you felt protected?" Gu Yunhui carefully pulled Bai Ningbing's sleeve and repeated stubbornly, "You are my girlfriend." Bai Ningbing touched Gu Yunhui's head and said in a soothing tone, "Well, Gu Yunhuan is satisfied." He glared at me and said complacently, "If I see you talking to Bai Ningbing again, I will not be polite." Bai Ningbing sighed, looked at me apologetically, and then supported Gu Yunhui. "Your hand is injured. I will take you to the hospital first." This scene is so familiar. In my previous life, I also watched Bai Ningbing and Gu Yunhui leave like this. At that time, I was also like Zhang Yunhe, now angry to death, but there was nothing I could do. After all, Gu Yunhui was really pitiful. My uncle died when he was born and he was raised by my aunt. As a result, my aunt died in a car accident in his senior year of high school. So Gu Yunhui was greatly stimulated mentally and began to have intermittent illnesses. In order to take care of him, my father brought him to my house. At first, I gave everything to Gu Yunhui. He wanted to live in my room and wear my clothes, and I agreed to everything. Until one day, Bai Ningbing came to my house as a guest. She was the school beauty of our school, and the little princess of the Bai group. Gu Yunhui fell in love with her at first sight. "Brother, give Bai Ningbing to me." I refused Gu Yunhui. But after that, whenever he mentioned Bai Ningbing, he became a little crazy. He began to think that Bai Ningbing was his girlfriend, and I was a mistress who wanted to steal his girlfriend. Whenever he saw Bai Ningbing dating me, he would cry bitterly. He even cut himself with a knife. Later, one rainy night, Bai Ningbing and I were watching a movie outside. He called me like crazy and said that he was kidnapped. I rushed over anxiously and encountered a car accident on the way. When I was rescued, my soul seemed to be lifted out of my body and floated outside the operating room. Gu Yunhui was crying in Bai Ningbing's arms. I was just joking and didn't think he would take it seriously. If Brother Fang Yuan died, many people would remember him. I was just suffering when I was alive and no one cared about me. Bai Ningbing couldn't help hugging him tightly. "Who said no one cared about you? There is also me." After I died, Gu Yunhui's spirit seemed to be a lot more normal. He recognized my parents as his parents, replaced my admission quota, and went to Tsinghua University with Bai Ningbing. During the Qingming festival, he burned paper for me and my aunt, mom and cousin. "Thank you for your help. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't even be able to get into a junior college. Where would I be today?" At that moment, my soul suddenly realized, Gu Yunhui has never been ill. Everything is just a carefully planned plan. A clear male voice came from the side. "Do you want to do it again?" I thought without hesitation, so when I opened my eyes, I returned to Gu Yunhui, the day when he just transferred to our school. Seeing Bai Ningbing taking Gu Yunhui away, I suddenly walked up with big strides and said to Bai Ningbing, "We break up." Bai Ningbing's eyes changed suddenly. He frowned and said, "Fang Yuan, don't be angry, I'm serious." I said calmly that if you want to take care of Gu Yunhui, then take good care of him. We are over. After saying that, I turned around and left regardless of Bai Ningbing desperately calling my name behind me. After school, I called Zhang Yunhe to the coffee shop. "Does your father know anyone at the traffic police? I want to find out the truth about my aunt's car accident." My aunt is an experienced truck driver. Everything was normal that day, but she drove her car into a bridge pier. Zhang Yunhe got goosebumps after listening to me. "Do you think his death might not be simple?" I was silent. My aunt was a good woman. She didn't have much ability, but she was very strong-willed. My family offered to support them many times, but my aunt declined. After her death, Gu Yunhui was adopted by my family and lived in a spacious villa, living a life with a driver and a nanny to serve her. Now everything is just speculation, but thinking of the expression on Gu Yunhuai's face when he was paying homage to his mother in the previous life, I have to think of the worst. Zhang Yunhe said it was no problem to hand it over to him. As soon as he took my hand, the phone rang. It was Bai Ningbing. Where are you, Feng Yuan? Let's talk. I don't plan to meet Bai Ningbing, but he still found this coffee shop based on his familiarity with me. Coffee room, Feng Yuan, don't be angry. He sat next to me with my favorite pistachio puff in his hand. You know, the only person I love is you. In the last life I would be soft-hearted when I heard such words, but now I just smiled coldly, thinking about Gu Yunhuai while loving me in his heart, doing two things at the same time worthy of being missed by. Bai Ningbing was a little angry. I was just acting with Gu Yunhuai to stabilize his emotions. You are his cousin, seeing him so sick, don't. You want to do something, he is sick and has a doctor. Why do you need me to do something? I wave my hand, don't say anymore. Bai Ningbing, breaking up is good for both you and me. I have just called the hotel and asked them to cancel the arrangement of the engagement site. Bai Ningbing was stunned, looking at me in disbelief. Are you serious? He immediately looked at me angrily. Feng Yuan's engagement is a very serious matter. There is no need to joke about this, to be angry with me, don't. Blame Bai Ningbing for not believing it. After all, I have always loved him so much and wanted to go to Tsinghua with him wholeheartedly. My future plans are full of him, but now I don't want it anymore. I'm saying this for the last time. I'm not joking and I'm not angry. I looked back at him calmly. Breaking up is that simple. Bai Ningbing roared in a low voice. I disagree. Before he finished speaking, a figure rushed into the coffee shop. Gu Yunhuai picked up the coffee on the table and poured it on me with lightning speed. He screamed, and before I could fight back, he staggered and came to Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing protected Gu Yunhuai with one hand and grabbed me with the other, not letting me leave. He was sweating profusely. In the chaos, I looked behind the counter of the coffee shop. The boss quietly made an okay gesture to me, and the corners of his mouth silently hooked up. The owner of this coffee shop is my friend. I just signaled him to turn on the camera. The whole process of Gu Yunhuai going crazy was recorded. This is Mia's hands, ready for prison or mental hospital. I have to send him to one of them. The farce of the day ended with Bai Ningbing sending Gu Yunhuai to the hospital. I returned home alone and found that there was no one at home. Apparently my parents received a call and went to the hospital to see Gu Yunhuai. I sat in the dark living room and thought quietly for a while. In fact, my parents love me very much, but they are also very strict with me and always use the highest standards to require me. When I was a child, I had a dispute with other children, and they would always ask me to apologize first, not to mention that Gu Yunhuai this time was the completely weaker party in the eyes of everyone. Therefore, if there was any conflict between Gu Yunhuai and me, they would always appear to be more biased towards Gu Yunhuai. This time when they went to the hospital, Gu Yunhuai must have been playing misery again, and I guess he threw a lot of dirty water on me. Sure enough, more than an hour later, my parents took Gu Yunhuai home. My father supported the weak Gu Yunhuai, and my mother's face was as cold as ice. Feng Yuan, come here, mom is calling me. I can clearly see that behind him, Gu Yunhuai looks aggrieved on the surface, but in fact, there is a barely perceptible smile on the corner of his mouth. You have provoked Yunhuai again. There is resentment in mom's tone. You clearly knew that Yunhuai was sick, but you embarrassed him in public. Feng Yuan, when did you become such a person with no empathy? Look at Gu Yunhuai, he is confusing right and wrong again. It was obviously him who rushed in and splashed coffee on me, but now it is me who is embarrassing him. If it were in my previous life, I would try my best to make myself white and prove that I didn't do such a thing. But in this life I know that self-proof is useless. What is useful is to go crazy with Gu Yunhuai. Isn't it just pretending to be sick? You can do it and so can I. I lowered my head silently and said in a painful voice, I'm sorry, Mom. I know I have disappointed you. Then I took out a thick file bag and poured it out. Inside was a diagnosis provided by a psychologist and a filled-out form for suspension of study. Application form. My parents' expressions were all fierce. Even Gu Yunhuai could not help but sit up straight. My eyes were red, and I pinched my arm helplessly. I have not been able to control my emotions recently, and I can't concentrate at all when studying. If this goes on, I think I will commit suicide. My parents' energy is limited, and it is impossible for them to take care of me and Yunhuai at the same time. As a brother, I should give in to her, so let Yunhuai take the college entrance examination this year, and I will take a year off from school. As soon as I finished speaking, my father was the first to be at a loss. How can this be done? Mom is a little calmer than Dad. She pulled Dad to the bedroom, and the two of them lowered their voices, but the conversation still came from time to time. Dad's voice was crying. It was all my fault. I only thought that Yunhuai needed care, so I took him home, but I didn't expect to affect Feng Yuan as well. Mom comforted him. Don't blame yourself first. The important thing now is to find a suitable solution. Gu Yunhuai in the living room looking at me hatefully. He picked up the psychological counseling diagnosis book I put on the table. Feng Yuan, when have you ever been to the psychological counseling room? This is forged by you. I curled the corners of my mouth and whispered, you haven't even been to the psychiatric department. It's all based on your mouth. I at least have a forged certificate. The next second my parents pushed the door open and came out. I immediately put on a helpless expression. Please don't talk about me anymore. I am willing to give Bai Ningbing and my parents to you if you are still not satisfied. I am willing to disappear from this world forever. What did Feng Yuan say? Dad rushed up and grabbed my hand tightly. You must not think too much. Mom came to Yunhuai and said softly, this is it, we discussed it. Our family has another house in the south of the city, closer to the school. Yunhuai might as well live there first. We will ask a nurse to take care of you. Gu Yunhuai's eyes opened wide. Aunt, don't you want me anymore? He immediately started to go crazy. Aunt, please, you are my only relative. Please don't abandon me. My parents comforted him together. Their tone was extremely gentle, but their attitude was extremely firm. I sobbed quietly beside him, but I was sneering in my heart. In the last life, my parents were heartbroken after I died in a car accident. At this time Gu Yunhui took the initiative to propose to become theirs, to take care of them in their old age. They were kept in the dark and agreed, but at this moment I am still alive. People are always partial, their own flesh and blood. My parents, it is impossible for them to watch me being harmed by Gu Yunhui and committing suicide due to depression. Just like that, Gu Yunhui was sent out of my house. He sold his misery everywhere in school, saying that I drove him out of the house. My classmates scolded me for being vicious. My brother actually treated a poor boy without a father and a mother like this. I was too lazy to even respond. The college entrance examination is the hard truth. These comments don't matter anyway. After graduating from high school, most people will never see each other again. Bai Ningbing also ran to me. Yunhui cried to me for half the night yesterday. Is it necessary to treat him like this? I buried my head in analytic geometry and didn't even raise my head. Bai Ningbing, we have broken up. You don't seem to have the right to blame me. I didn't agree to break up, Bai Ningbing said firmly. Engagement is a matter between two families. Why can you break up with just one sentence? That's interesting. I put down my pen, raised my head and smiled playfully. What you mean is, are you still my girlfriend? Since you are still my girlfriend, can you explain why Gu Yunhui cried with you for half the night? A single man and a single woman got together late at night. Who do you think is more excessive between us? Bai Ningbing was furious. I only sympathize with Gu Yunhui. He is your cousin and also my classmate. I smiled and didn't say anything. In fact, I have a recording on my mobile phone. It was recorded by Bai Ningbing's friend when he was having a party and sent it to me. In the recording, I don't know if Bai Ningbing was drunk, but he said in a smug voice, "Have you seen the Heaven Sword and Dragon Saber? Do you think Fang Yuan looks like Zhang Wuji? Gu Yunhui very similar to Zhou Zhu." I sneered. What era is this? They still want to play the red and white roses game. It's just that now, I don't want to continue arguing with Bai Ningbing. Verbal disputes are useless. The more you argue with a bad person, the deeper you sink. I want to grasp the tangible interests, but Bai Ningbing is like a piece of chewed gum. Once you stick to it, you can't get rid of it. The school organized seniors from Tsinghua and Peking University to come back for a lecture, and the top 30 in the grade all went to attend, and Bai Ningbing happened to be sitting next to me. Before the meeting, he stopped me and seemed a little difficult to say. There was something I didn't know how to say, so don't say it. I wanted to go around it, but he stopped me. Bai Ningbing gritted his teeth and still spoke. Can you give your admission quota to Gu Yunhui? No, I didn't even raise my eyelids and was about to get rid of Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing was anxious. He grabbed my wrist tightly and forcibly pulled me to the side of the corridor. Fang Yuan, listen to me. Saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. Now you are the only one who can. The person who saved Yunhui. Under my scrutiny, Bai Ningbing stammered and told me the whole process. It turned out that Gu Yunhui had caused trouble again. He pretended to commit suicide in the bathtub, and then called Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing broke into the room and rescued him at the last moment before he fell into a coma. After experiencing this, a painful plot from a romance novel in the 1980s, Gu Yunhui said to Bai Ningbing in tears that if he could not go to the same school with Bai Ningbing, he would die. As everyone knows, Bai Ningbing and I have both been admitted to Tsinghua University, and Gu Yunhui's grades are about 400 points away from being admitted to Tsinghua University. That's great, Bai Ningbing, I nodded. Since Gu Yunhui is determined to go to the same school with you, and you also want him to realize his wish, why don't I smile at him under Bai Ningbing's expectant gaze and say, you give him tutoring. Although there is only 1 month left before the college entrance examination, God will probably be moved by your kindness and create a miracle. I turned and left. Bai Ningbing was furious and stepped in front of me. Fang Yuan, listen to me, are you talking human language? In Gu Yunhui's current state, how can he take the college entrance examination normally? He doesn't want to take the college entrance examination and wants to go to Tsinghua University. Then everyone should stop studying and learn how to play the victim. I rolled my eyes. You, get out of the way quickly, I want to attend the lecture. I finally got rid of Bai Ningbing and walked forward with big strides. He said sinisterly behind me, Fang Yuan, don't think I don't know you killed his mother. This sentence is too horrifying. I couldn't help but stop and looked back in shock. Yunhui told me everything. It was you who said you wanted to eat local chicken soup that day, and his mother just came back from the car and went to bring you local chicken. Fatigue driving caused the accident. Maybe my face was too ugly. Bai Ningbing slowed down his tone. Of course, Fang Yuan, I know you didn't mean it, but it has happened. It's your responsibility that Yunhui has become what he is now. You should atone for your sins to Yunhui. Don't say. Bai Ningbing walked up and tried to hug me. Fang Yuan, I know you don't believe it, but I really have only pity for Gu Yunhui. He is your brother, and I treat him as my brother, but in my heart, the person I love has always been you. Before Bai Ningbing finished speaking, a cold voice interrupted him. Classmate, you have been blocking this road for almost 10 minutes. When can you get out of the way? Bai Ningbing and I turned our heads together. A boy in a white shirt stood not far away, with gold-rimmed glasses hanging on his chest and his hands in his pockets, looking a little cold. I recognized him. He was one of the speakers at this lecture, Su Xiaolong, a senior who went to Peking University. I don't know why, but the moment I heard his voice, I was suddenly stunned. When I was reborn, a voice asked in my ear, do you want to start over? That voice was exactly the same as Su Xiaolong's voice just now. Brother, you can't do this. The girl is almost annoyed by you, and you are still pestering her. Su Xiaolong behind me, a tall girl followed me in a nonchalant manner. She had a face whose exact age could not be told, with both the mature outline of a woman and the clarity of a girl. On her chest was a famous schoolmate Xiao Zhao's brand. At that moment, confused memories suddenly poured into my mind like pieces of a puzzle. My strong intuition told me that I had met these two people before. Thanks to Su Xiaolong and Xiao Zhao, Bai Ningbing could not continue to pester me. As soon as the lecture was over, I immediately walked around the crowd and came to Su Xiaolong. Can I have your contact information, senior? Su Xiaolong looked at me for a long time then smiled. Didn't you get admitted to Tsinghua University? I'm from Peking University. You should go find seniors from Tsinghua University. We hesitated for a long time, and finally asked implicitly if we had met before. As soon as I opened my mouth, Su Xiaolong's face changed, and then Xiao Zhao, who came behind him, also changed her face slightly. At school, Su Xiaolong asked calmly. I plucked up the courage to shake my head. No, it was at school nearby with people coming and going. I didn't dare to say it too bluntly, so I said vaguely that it was by a river, and there were red lotuses on the other side of the river. One of you was on a boat and the other was on the bridge. Before I finished speaking, Su Xiaolong and Xiao Zhao's expressions had already become solemn. You actually remembered, Su Xiaolong murmured softly. This probably means that you will have a lot of disasters in the future. He tore off a piece of notepaper, wrote a string of numbers and handed it to me. This is my WeChat. After Su Xiaolong and Xiao Zhao left, I added that WeChat. The ID was very strange, saying reply quickly. Before I had time to say hello, an emoticon was thrown at me, followed by a few lines of words that gave me goosebumps. Whether the reborn person can survive depends on God's will. Your current situation is very bad. You might die again. If you are in danger, send a message to this WeChat. I held the phone, my fingertips trembling a little. I have avoided several nodes in the last life. Could it be that Gu Yunhui? Are there any new tricks to kill me? I locked myself in the room and thought seriously for a whole night, and then decided to change my strategy appropriately. So when Bai Ningbing called me again, I didn't hang up as usual but picked up. Bai Ningbing was a little surprised, and then heaved a long sigh of relief. Fang Yuan, you are finally not angry with me. I tried to restrain the urge to roll my eyes and said calmly, what's the matter? Friday is my birthday party. Bai Ningbing said, all the classmates will come. Fang Yuan, you will come to celebrate my birthday, right? All the classmates will come. I sneered silently and asked, Gu Yunhui will come too. Bai Ningbing's throat felt a little dry. If you don't want to know, I don't mean that. I will go to celebrate your birthday with you. After hanging up the phone, I smiled faintly. Gu Yunhui is also very powerful. He will get sick when he takes the college entrance examination, and he will be normal immediately when he goes to the party. It doesn't matter. I wanted to find an opportunity to observe his movements, so on Friday night, I arrived at Bai Ningbing's birthday party on time. The party was held in a private room of a private club. Bai Ningbing was of course the undisputed protagonist, and was surrounded by everyone in the center. Gu Yunhui was standing next to him. It could be seen that he had dressed up carefully, wearing a high-end dress and a brand-name watch. I squinted my eyes slightly. That dress was mine. I originally wanted to wear this dress today, but I found that it was not in the closet. I asked the nanny and she said she didn't see it, so I had to take another one temporarily. I didn't expect that it would be worn by Gu Yunhui. The Bai family is a well-known family. Bai Ningbing's birthday party has the nature of socializing. From time to time, people from the business world come to toast the future little princess. After the toast, they will look at Gu Yunhui next to Bai Ningbing, and Gu Yunhui will greet them with a smile. I have heard that Mr. Fong is very outstanding. When I saw him today, his reputation is well-deserved. Our company has always been interested in cooperating with Mr. Fong. If possible, I hope Mr. Fong can say a few good words for us. This is the gift I prepared for Mrs. Fong. Gu Yunhui smiled and said that he would bring the words and gifts one by one. But before he could take the gift box, a hand stretched out from a shoe took the gift box first. This hand was of course mine. After taking the gift box, I smiled and nodded to thank the person who gave the gift. My father likes this brand of face cream the most. I thank you on his behalf first. The guests were stunned, looked me up and down, and then hesitated and said, You are Fong Yuan. I stretched out my hand generously, shook hands with the other party and said hello. The guests were confused. Who is this gentleman? Everyone's eyes fell on Gu Yunhui. Obviously, except for our classmates in school, everyone else thought Gu Yunhui was me. After all, I was the one who was engaged to Bai Ningbing. At today's birthday party, the person standing next to Bai Ningbing should also be me. Gu Yunhui has obviously occupied the magpie's nest. Before Gu Yunhui could open his mouth, before he could introduce himself, I said, Uncle is here to celebrate Bai Ningbing's birthday, and he also wants to bring a gift to the Fong family through me. Now that both goals have been achieved, why bother about who the other people are? After I said this, Gu Yunhui's face turned pale immediately. The guest was also a sensible person. After all, he had something to ask of my family, so he immediately agreed with me. Mr. Fong is right. I'm really sorry that I recognized the wrong person just now. Mr. Fong spoke so clearly and neatly. He is worthy of being a child of a wealthy family. In my peripheral vision, I saw that Gu Yunhui's eyes were red with anger. He turned his head and ran out the door. That look was really pitiful. I saw Bai Ningbing showing a distressed expression, and was about to follow him, so I grabbed him and asked, Where is your fiancé? Bai Ningbing took my hand away angrily. Fong Yuan, do you have to do this? Gu Yunhui is also your family member. You haven't come yet, so he helped to receive the gifts. Why do you have to face him in front of so many strangers and be sarcastic? I sneer. That's right. Accept the gifts for me. Does this mean you will stand by your side for me, cut the cake with you and marry you for me? Bai Ningbing frowned. Fong Yuan, I always thought you were a generous and graceful boy. How could you become like this? After saying that, he left me and chased out alone. Everyone looked at me. We all saw that the little princess of the Bai family had just left her fiancé to chase Gu Yunhui. Gu Yunhui should be very proud of himself. It doesn't matter, just let him be proud for a few days. After all, I have just grasped the clues I wanted to know. That night, I received a text message from Gu Yunhui. There was a photo in it. It was Bai Ningbing lying on the bed, his clothes half removed, his eyes slightly closed. He was with you, but the person he loved was actually me. Fang Yuan, you still lost. I looked at the phone and sneered. Do you know how to really destroy a person's mentality? That is, when he thinks he is only one step away from success. Wo ai ni. English. When I was about to leave, I kicked him off the cloud directly. So I opened WeChat and sent a circle of friends that only Bai Ningbing could see. The content was a big bunch of roses, and the copy was, "Thank you for your flowers, I like them very much." After sending this circle of friends, I turned on my phone, set the do not disturb function and fell asleep. The next day was a weekend. When I woke up, there were more than a dozen missed calls on my phone, all from Bai Ningbing. I opened WeChat and found that Bai Ningbing had sent several screens of messages, asking who gave you the Fang Yuan flowers, you are my fiancé, and you are still having an affair with another woman out there. What would your parents think if they knew? How ridiculous. Bai Ningbing seems to always lack the ability to reflect on himself. He is strict with others but lenient with himself. From this point of view, he and Gu Yunhui are really a good match. But now he finally feels the pain. This is my idea. No matter how many times I tell Bai Ningbing to cancel the engagement, he will only think that I am sulking. But when I might fall in love with someone else, he would really panic. When you are about to lose something, that thing will become extremely precious. Sure enough, after these few words of venting his emotions, Bai Ningbing quickly began to redeem himself. I admit that it was wrong for me to leave you at the birthday party, but there are reasons for it. You should understand me, Fang Yuan, you can't meet someone who treats you better than I do. I didn't reply to these messages. I was sincerely creating a sense of crisis for Bai Ningbing. That night, Bai Ningbing was waiting outside my house with roses. He even repeatedly questioned my nanny whether any other girls had come to see Fang Yuan recently. I waited until the right moment and finally let him in. He waited outside the door for more than 2 hours. If it were usual, he would have left in anger. But this time there was no impatience on Bai Ningbing's face. He even felt a little fortunate that I finally let him in. You still can't let me go, right? He handed the bouquet of roses into my arms, and I felt indifferent. Although he was extremely cold, he still had a smile on his lips. Of course, the joy of regaining what he had lost filled Bai Ningbing's heart. He began to confirm with me repeatedly about the various procedures of the engagement ceremony. At the same time, in order to fight against that love rival, Bai Ningbing forced me to take a picture of the roses he gave me, and also took a picture of the rings on both of our hands, and forced me to post another circle of friends. I acted very reluctantly. Oh, at the engagement ceremony, everyone will naturally know about it. The more reluctant I was, the more Bai Ningbing insisted. Not everyone would attend the engagement ceremony. You must post this circle of friends. Just like that, I seemed to be forced by Bai Ningbing to post this official circle of friends. Good, everything was within my expectations. Dear Gu Yunhui, how do you feel when you see this circle of friends? If you want to put it into action, please do it as soon as possible. After all, the plan I have woven for a long time is about to close. After Bai Ningbing left that night, I made 3 phone calls. The first call was to Su Xiaolong. These days, I often go to him for coffee, and we have become close friends. He seemed to be about to sleep when he answered the phone, and his voice was lazy. It's nothing, I just felt that I stole your picture, so I should tell you. Yes, the picture that I used to post on WeChat moments to show Bai Ningbing. The roses in it were given by Su Xiaolong's girlfriend Xiao Zhao. Su Xiaolong and I were having dinner outside at the time. Xiao Zhao didn't know why she offended Su Xiaolong, and he was out of town, so she couldn't come to apologize in person, so she ordered a bouquet of flowers to express her apology. After hearing the whole story, Su Xiaolong was almost laughing to death at Bai Ningbing's various performances, but he immediately said seriously, "You have provoked Gu Yunhui so much, he may take drastic measures to retaliate. Are you ready?" It's no wonder Su Xiaolong is worried. According to him, people who are reborn go against the will of heaven, so it is easy for them not to be favored by good luck. But I just smiled and of course ended the conversation with Su Xiaolong. After that, I called my buddy Zhang Yunhe again to ask him how the matter I asked him to do this morning was going. Half an hour later, I hung up the phone with Zhang Yunhe and raised my hand to open Gu Yunhui's dialog box. I looked at the photo of his avatar. In this selfie, Gu Yunhui looked so sunny and cheerful, but no one could have imagined what kind of demon was hidden under the skin. I have many ways to make this demon die silently, but this is not enough. I want him to be exposed to everyone in broad daylight, and then turn to ashes and never be reborn again. The next period of time seemed peaceful and beautiful. The engagement matters of Bai Ningbing and I were confirmed one by one, the guest list was drawn up, and the invitations were sent out. Since the Bai family had a company promotion task recently, they even arranged a live broadcast for the engagement banquet. With the popularity of the marriage between the Bai family and the new products that their company was about to launch, they promoted them. In fact, theoretically speaking, it is very unkind of the Bai family to use public property for personal gain and use our marriage to advertise the company. My parents were not happy about this either, but I gently persuaded them that live broadcasting would allow more people to witness the engagement ceremony, which is a good thing. Yes, the more viewers there are, the happier I am. Soon it was the day of the engagement banquet. There were still 3 hours before the ceremony. I had put on my makeup and was ready to change into a dress. The driver took me to the auditorium. I asked the nanny Li Funi, and the nanny handed me a glass of water. It was downstairs. I would go get it now. Master, drink some water first. 10 minutes later, the nanny opened the door. The room was quiet. I fell to the ground with my eyes closed. Next to me was a fallen glass. I drank half of the water and spilled the other half on the ground. The nanny came up and tried to push me, calling my name, but I had no response. It was obvious that I was in a deep coma. The nanny breathed a sigh of relief, picked up her phone and sent a text message out. After a while, the bedroom door was pushed open again. The person who came in was Gu Yunhui. He kicked me with the tip of his shoe and said coldly, "Fang Yuan, you have also suffered this day." Then Gu Yunhui took out an envelope full of money from his bag and stuffed it into the nanny. "Leave immediately. No matter who asks you, you must say that you know nothing." The nanny was a little nervous. "Master Yunhui, what you are going to do is none of your business," Gu Yunhui said coldly. "The nanny is still a little worried about you. Don't do anything too extreme, otherwise I will be implicated." "Can you stop talking nonsense?" Gu Yunhui said angrily. "Your son is still waiting for you in the hospital." The nanny didn't dare to say anything else and hurriedly took the money and left. Only Gu Yunhui and I were left in the room. He calmly took off the accessories on me and put them on himself, then went to the fitting room and found the gift I prepared for the engagement. "Brother, do you know I have always been jealous of you? We are obviously the children of a pair of siblings. As a result, you live in a big villa and I live in a two-building. Everyone calls you Master Fang, but I only have a group of gangsters around me. This is not fair," Gu Yunhui said as he changed his clothes slowly. After changing his clothes, he waited for a while. The roar of motorcycles was heard under the plane, and a group of women who looked like gangsters appeared downstairs. Gu Yunhui opened the door for them and simply told them to follow the plan. "Take off their clothes, take pictures, and wait for me to send you a message. Then you send me the pictures." Gu Yunhui left. After several women surrounded me and waited for more than 10 minutes, they probably thought it was about time. The leading gangster pointed at me, and he stripped off his clothes. Immediately, a woman came to me, but the moment he approached me, I suddenly opened my eyes and kicked the other person in the crotch. I stepped back violently with a heart-wrenching scream. Several women immediately realized that something was wrong, but before they could outflank me, my room 2 figures came out from behind the screen in the room. I like the decoration style of the Fang family. Xiao Zhao sighed that when we get married in the future, the house will be decorated like this. "What do you think?" Su Xiaolong snorted coldly. "Who said he wanted to marry you?" I was speechless. "Can you two help me solve the crisis first and then show your love?" Before I finished speaking, Xiao Zhao had already moved. He quickly flashed in front of a woman and grabbed her collar. The woman roared. "Where did this little bastard come from?" Xiao Zhao narrowed his eyes, obviously a little unhappy. "I don't like disrespect for the elderly." After that, he picked up the woman with one hand and smashed her on the cabinet next to her. The other 2 women looked at each other, took out the switchblades in their arms, and ran towards Xiao Zhao from the left and right. Xiao Zhao sighed. It was still interesting to fight in ancient times. The kids nowadays don't have any kung fu. After that, he took the knives of the 2 with his bare hands. One was kicked into the bathroom by him, and the other was then he threw it out from the 2nd floor. The last remaining gang leader was scared silly. He knew by instinct that he couldn't fight with Xiao Zhao. The boy's skills didn't look like those of a normal person. So he aimed his eyes at Su Xiaolong, who was standing not far away. Su Xiaolong had the appearance of a standard academic master and good boy, with a white shirt and white pants. He was a weak and fragile 3-good student. Xiao Zhao's voice immediately became distorted. It was too late to move him. The gang leader had already pounced on Su Xiaolong, with a sharp switchblade about to be placed on Su Xiaolong's neck. Su Xiaolong looked at the gangster calmly. The next second, the 3-good student raised the thing in his hand, and a brick hit the gangster on the head directly. "I told you not to touch him." Xiao Zhao, who was standing aside and inserting, sighed helplessly. He didn't control the severity of his attack. The gangster fell to the ground with blood all over his 7 orifices. Su Xiaolong took out his mobile phone and handed it to me. "Everything was almost as you expected. Play just like Su Xiaolong said, everything was my plan." As early as the day of Bai Ningbing's birthday party, I had already suspected that my nanny had been bribed by Gu Yunhui. The reason was simple. The nanny was the only one who knew where the haute couture dress Gu Yunhui wore that day was placed, except for me. So I secretly observed the nanny afterwards, and found that she would contact Gu Yunhui privately. After confirming this guess, I was extremely wary of the nanny's every word and action. I would not actually eat any food and drink he handed me. I also secretly took his mobile phone when the nanny was not paying attention. Sure enough, under my constant provocation, Gu Yunhui decided to attack me today, so I contacted Su Xiaolong and Xiao Zhao in advance and asked them to ambush in my house. "This mobile phone should be the one you used to contact Gu Yunhui," I said to the gangster leader. He was lying on the ground being stepped on by Xiao Zhao, raised his head and looked at me with angry eyes without saying a word. "Gu Yunhui asked you to take nude photos of me and send them to him, and he made them public at the engagement ceremony. I was right, wasn't I?" The gang leader still didn't say anything. "It's meaningless for you to resist now. You broke into a private house, drugged me, and intended to cause bodily harm. The evidence is conclusive. If you don't want to go to the police station, then do as I say." I held the phone in front of the gang leader and turned it on. The gang leader turned his head away and ignored me. The fingerprint should also work. Xiao Zhao tried to grab the gang leader's hand. However, the gangster did something no one expected. He put his thumb in his mouth and bit it until it bled. In short, he can't tell the password, and he has also destroyed the fingerprint that can unlock the phone. "Don't try to impersonate me to contact Yunhui," he said loudly, with ruthlessness and complacency in his voice. I lowered my eyes to look at him, and after a moment I smiled slightly. "So that's how it is. You are not bribed, you like him, and you are really working for him." The gang leader knew what I was thinking and turned his head away from me. I smiled. "So that's how it is. These gangsters are not very old. In their eyes, Gu Yunhui should be a cheerful and sunny boy. Even if this boy asks them to do something that is against the will of heaven and earth, they will be happy to do it. In this case, it will be easy." Taking out my cell phone, I played the recording just now. Gu Yunhuai's voice rang out clearly. You are about to marry a princess of a wealthy family. Everyone calls you Master Fong, but what about me? I only have a group of gangsters around me. If my future is to marry such a low-quality woman, I might as well die. This voice was cold and ruthless, but it was indeed Gu Yunhuai's. The gang leader's body shook violently. He raised his head and stared at my cell phone with bloodshot eyes. Do you understand? You like him so much, but he has never. He likes you, but you are just a stepping stone. After he steps on you to get close to the eldest daughter of the Bai family, he will throw you away. Now think about it again. Do you want to cooperate with me? Gu Yunhuai stood in the auditorium. He looked at the guests in gorgeous clothes, swallowed his saliva, and felt a little nervous for no reason. He took out his mobile phone and sent a message to Yingzi, asking if the video was recorded. A file was sent over quickly. Gu Yunhuai clicked on it and found that it could not be played smoothly. What happened? Yingzi's message came back quickly, saying that it could not be opened on the mobile phone, so don't you have to connect to the big screen? The big screen can play it. A trace of worry arose in Gu Yunhuai's heart, but he quickly suppressed it. Yingzi was the leader of this gang of gangsters and his biggest bootlicker. He had always promised Yingzi that when he got the video from these rich people, Bai Ningding and Fong Yuan were cheated out of money so she would marry him. Yingzi listened to him in everything. If Yingzi said it was okay, then it was okay. So Gu Yunhuai approached the control center quietly. At this moment, some past photos of Bai Ningding and Fong Yuan were being played on the big screen. There was no one at the computer in charge of the control center. Gu Yunhuai sat over and imported the video from his mobile phone. Soon all the guests would see Fong Yuan's indecent video. Moreover, this engagement banquet was being broadcast live, and countless people would witness this scene. The Bai family was such a face-conscious family that they would never let Miss Bai marry Fong Yuan. Gu Yunhuai imported the video and pressed the play button hard. In the center of the auditorium, everyone turned around and was attracted by the video that suddenly started playing on the big screen. Gu Yunhuai also looked at the big screen with a crazy smile, and the next second his expression froze. The scene of the video was a coffee shop. Bai Ningbing and Fong Yuan were talking, but then a disheveled boy suddenly rushed in. He spilled a cup of coffee on Fong Yuan and then fell into Bai Ningbing's arms. Bai Ningbing tried to protect the boy and started arguing with Fong Yuan. The guests were already talking about it. My God, what's going on? Who is this guy? He looks mentally unstable. Why is Bai Ningbing still protecting him? Is this boy a mistress? Soon a guest saw Gu Yunhuai sitting next to the computer. Isn't this the boy in the video? Yes, it's him. What does it mean? He came to the scene to play this kind of video to grab the bride. Before Gu Yunhuai could leave, he was grabbed by Bai Ningbing, who rushed up. Gu Yunhuai, what are you doing? Bai Ningbing lowered his voice. The voice roared. You came here to deliberately ruin my engagement party. Gu Yunhuai's lips trembled. Impossible. The video that was played was obviously sent by Yingzi, not me. Let me explain. Gu Yunhuai didn't know what to do. He had to pick up the phone in a panic. This video was sent to me by someone else. Maybe I was too panicked and wanted to find a scapegoat. Or maybe I wanted to ask what was going on. In short, Gu Yunhuai called Yingzi. A familiar cell phone ringtone rang behind him. Gu Yunhuai turned around abruptly. I was standing not far behind him and raised what was in my hand. It was Yingzi's cell phone. The next second I walked onto the stage and took the microphone. Hello everyone. Thank you all for coming to my engagement party. I believe that just now, everyone has seen the video played by my cousin Gu Yunhuai. Obviously, this video of 3 people is a bit too crowded, which makes me very hesitant about this. Do you still want to get married? Bai Ningbing yelled. Fong Yuan, what are you doing? How many times have I told you I'm just pitiful? Gu Yunhuai smiled slightly. Then next, I also have a video. I want to play it. I connected my phone to the big screen. Then the heavy breathing sounded in the auditorium. Gu Yunhuai was sitting on the hospital bed in the picture. He looked up at Bai Ningbing, tears flashing in his eyes. Please, can you give me some salvation? Bai Ningbing did not speak. He closed his eyes. Gu Yunhuai leaned forward and kissed her lips. As if some boundary was suddenly broken, Bai Ningbing suddenly hugged Gu Yunhuai and deepened the kiss. The 2 people's rapid and heavy breathing sound can be clearly heard in the video. After the playback, the auditorium was as quiet as a cemetery. Bai Ningbing was pale. Gu Yunhuai. He is mentally ill. I am just cooperating with the treatment. Before he finished speaking, Gu Yunhuai jumped up and said, No, I haven't. Gu Yunhuai's strategy was very clear. He was just pretending to be sick in my house and relying on other people's sympathy for him to survive. But today, in front of so many people, especially with the live broadcast, he must not admit that he is mentally ill. Otherwise, not only will it be impossible for the Bai family to let Bai Ningbing marry a mentally ill husband, but his future studies and job hunting will be affected. Gu Yunhuai was in a hurry and took out his diagnosis from his bag. Bai Ningbing, look, everything about me is normal. That's great. Someone interrupted him. Gu Yunhuai looked up at me in shock. I took the microphone, smiled calmly and repeated, That's great. I'm glad that you are completely normal. Otherwise, I'm really afraid that you will escape criminal responsibility in the name of mental illness. The next second was like an ink seal. To prove my words, the police broke into the room. 2 male policemen stepped forward and held Gu Yunhuai on the left and right, and took him away. My parents, who were already very shocked in the corner, were shocked beyond words after seeing this scene. What's going on with Fong Yuan? I looked to the side and Tang Hui, who came in with the police, came to my side and said, Uncle and Aunt, Fong Yuan found me a few months ago and suspected that the death of Gu Yunhuai's mother was not simple. My father went to investigate and did find many suspicious points. For example, Gu Yunhuai's mother was obviously a very experienced driver, but she did not wear a seatbelt that day, which resulted in the car hitting the bridge pier, shattering the glass and flying out of the car into the river. Gu Yunhuai did not call the police within 48 hours of his mother's loss of contact, which resulted in a very difficult autopsy when Gu Yunhuai's mother was found, but the subsequent after investigation, we still found many clues. We found that there were leftover hallucinogenic drugs in the thermos cup in Gu Yunhuai's mother's car, and Gu Yunhuai had a record of buying this drug online a few months before his mother's accident. My mother's legs went weak, but fortunately my father supported her. The one we adopted home is a devil, I whispered. My aunt refused our family's financial support many times and lived a poor life with Gu Yunhuai. He thought that this was asking Gu Yunhuai to live a self-respecting and independent life, but he didn't know that Gu Yunhuai had already regarded him as a stumbling block. Bai Ningbing, who was standing aside, turned pale when he heard it. He walked up and trembled. Fang Yuan, I didn't know people well before. I was too kind. I didn't look at him. I just said coldly, Bai Ningbing, you have never been unclear about people. And you are not kind. You are lustful, greedy, stupid, and have no bottom line. I pulled my parents and Tang Hui turned and left, never looking back. Don't come to me again. You are not worthy of me at all. Epilogue later. Gu Yunhuai was sentenced by the court for murdering his mother, which caused an uproar. The Bai family lost their reputation in that live broadcast. Bai Ningbing, the heir to the once glorious Bai group, became a scumbag and a joke. The Bai family's business plummeted, and Bai Ningbing's mental state gradually became problematic. Finally, Bai's parents took Bai Ningbing away from the city. I had a smooth academic career afterwards, but the only strange thing was that I didn't see Su Xiaofeng and Xiao Zhao again. I sent messages to the WeChat user named Su Huiran, but Su Xiaofeng didn't reply much, just occasionally sent me a voice message. We have new jobs. In fact, I vaguely know what their jobs are. After all, Su Xiaofeng once pulled Xiao Zhao and me into a small group. I found that Xiao Zhao's WeChat ID was called Soul Chaser. The name of our small group of 3 was called Work Group 018. I was probably their customer number 018, but what I didn't understand was that they provided me with a lot of help but didn't charge me a penny. What exactly was their remuneration for their work? In the spring of the second year, many of my questions were finally answered. Su Xiaofeng sent me a text message with only 4 words in it. Do you want to eat barbecue? Large slices of fatty beef were sprinkled with chopped green onions and roasted on a copper plate, emitting the aroma of fat. Surrounding them were mushrooms smeared with garlic, arranged in a circle around the stove like small bowls. The juice had been roasted and made a boiling sound. Su Xiaofeng picked up a piece of kimchi and put it in his mouth to chew. He was finally done with his work. He didn't even have time to rest during the spring festival. Xiao Zhao opposite was cutting the cheese-filled lava steak with scissors. Old work hard, eat more meat. Su Xiaofeng rolled his eyes. Who is your husband? Get out of here. He passed the roasted beef to me. About the 2 of us, tell me what you know. I buried my head in eating and concentrated on playing dumb. What about you two? You are from Peking University. I know which school Senior Zhao is from. It seems that I have never mentioned it. Su Xiaofeng waved his hand and said, Don't pretend, junior brother. I know you are a smart person, just say whatever you know. It's okay to say this. I am embarrassed to play dumb anymore. Senior Chao is a soul chaser. Her ability should be to seal souls. You are a speed returner. Your ability is to go back in time. I can be reborn. It should be you two who saved me. Su Xiaofeng chewed the beef, didn't say anything. In fact, he acquiesced. I should have been dead. The river with red lotus on the other side is the Styx. One of you is on the bridgehead. The other is on the boat. The one on the bridgehead is Senior Chao, responsible for carrying the souls across the bridge. Lead the soul back. The one on the boat is Senior Su. You ferry that soul onto the boat and then go upstream. Su Xiaofeng listened to me silently, then drank a sip of coke. You are right, but there is a problem. We will quietly provide help to the rescued souls, so that they can survive after rebirth. But in theory, these souls should not recognize us. After returning to the world of the living, the memory of the Styx will be automatically erased. The 2 people stared at me with torches in their eyes. So why do you remember me? How would I know? Both of them didn't blink. I'm not pretending to be stupid this time. I raised my hands in surrender. I'm just an ordinary mortal who had a Madonna disease in my previous life and is always bullied in this life. Don't ask me about your immortal affairs, okay? Su Xiaofeng glanced at Xiao Zhao. He didn't seem to be lying. Xiao Zhao really didn't know. Forget it. It's not important. It's not important. Su Xiaofeng waved his hand. In short, you were saved by us, and the most important thing is that I still have this memory. I said no. Su Xiaofeng shook his head. The most important thing is that you are still a rich man. I decided to start a company. The budget from the underworld could not be approved, so I plan to find a sponsor in the world. Su Xiaofeng said, I think you are very suitable. I'll eat first. I'll take my leave. Fang Yuan left. Xiao Zhao teased Su Xiaofeng slowly while grilling meat. He failed to fool others. Su Xiaofeng said lightly, don't worry, he will come back. Those who are bound by fate will eventually return to cause and effect. Sure enough, 3 minutes later, Fang Yuan lifted the curtain and sat back. I didn't say that I had agreed to your intention. I said with a straight face, I just want to ask what your business is and whether I can get my money back after investing. In the alley, Fang Yuan looked at this small store with great disdain. There was a shabby sign at the door, which read, Wishing Shop, 10 yuan per time. I may be crazy, Fang Yuan murmured. I can't believe I would invest in such a thing. Su Xiaofeng stood beside him and said in a friendly manner, It doesn't matter. That little investment is just a drop in the bucket for you. What do you mean by a drop in the bucket? Fang Yuan collapsed and said, You mean as long as the customer spends 10 yuan, you can help the other party realize a wish. Are the abilities of you, the Huiran and the Soul Chaser, so cheap? What are you talking about? Su Xiaofeng said in confusion. 10 yuan is the price of making a wish. It means that the customer can write his wish on a piece of paper for me. As for realizing the wish, that is another price. By the way, let me introduce my manager Xiao Zhao. Deputy Manager Fang Yuan sneered. You are a lone commander, right? You don't even have a there were no employees. Su Xiaofeng pointed directly at Fang Yuan. You are a clerk, Fang Yuan, why don't you explain it clearly? I am the sponsor, why do I become a clerk? Su Xiaofeng, don't think that you will not chase me away just because you are my senior. I will treat this investment as a meat bun to throw at a dog. The powerful young Master Fang had no way to deal with Su Xiaofeng. He turned around and left angrily. As a result, as soon as he walked out of the store, he ran into a pale boy. Excuse me, can I make a wish here? The boy asked timidly. Fang Yuan was stunned for a second, then showed a warm smile. Yes, yes, please come in. Oops, I really became a clerk. After the boy went in, Fang Yuan stood outside the store, wiping the sweat from his head in annoyance. However, this kind of job working for the gods and witnessing the joys and sorrows of the world seems to sound good. Anyway, the summer vacation is still long. It's time to welcome a new story. The Inn.